Hola muchachos, ¿qué tal? Buenos días. Aquí tienen el horario para hoy, lunes el 12 de agosto. Learning target for today to learn and practice the sounds of the Spanish alphabet and practicing that by spelling your name and the names of your classmates. We're going to review the homework assignment that was due for today, the Practica Como Te Llamas, where you guys are practicing the dialogue from page 4, the vocabulario that we covered last class. Page 4 has the expressions that we use to introduce ourselves to each other. So this vocabulary here, which you can find on the handout that was distributed to you last class, using these expressions to greet each other, ask and answer questions about each other's name, and then finally indicate nice to meet you. Those three parts. And that conversation submitted either as an audio or a video file. Doesn't need to be too long, 15-20 seconds at most. And that was your homework due by midnight tonight. And you do not have any homework due for next class. I'm going to review those expressions mentioned a moment ago from the handout on page 4 of the textbook. Use those expressions to complete exercises 1 and 2. Pull that up again there for you on page 5. Exercises 1 and 2. The first one is to complete the dialogue using the expression that you think would make the most sense in response to the expression provided at the very beginning. So, for example, ¿Cómo se llama? As you can see from the vocabulary glossary, is asking, what is your name, formally? And so a logical response to that question, ¿Cómo se llama?, wouldn't be igualmente. Igualmente is, nice to meet you too, or likewise. Appropriate response would be somebody's name, right? Because ¿Cómo se llama? Is asking, what's your name? So for each of those 1 through 5, indicate the expression that makes the most sense in response. And then for number 2, you have the questions ¿Cómo te llamas? And ¿Cómo se llama usted? ¿Cómo te llamas? What is your name? Informally. ¿Cómo se llama usted? What is your name? Formally. So in the polite form. So would we use the formal, polite, ¿Cómo se llama? Or informal, casual, ¿Cómo te llamas? Which form would we use according to the situations provided in exercise 2? For example, number 1, a substitute teacher. With teachers, probably want to be more formal. ¿Cómo se llama usted? Student who just transferred to our school. Someone similar in age, maybe a little bit more casual. ¿Cómo te llamas? All right, so that's exercise 1 and 2 on page 5. And then after that, we'll go over the alphabet in Español, el alfabeto, on pages 6 and 7. And going back to the textbook, you guys can see, we'll go to 2-page view. The alphabet provided there, you'll take notes on each of the letters, and then I would recommend, in addition to the letters themselves, I would include the sound that each letter makes using Spanish phonetics, the sounds of Spanish. So I would include that in parentheses. For example, A, B, C, D, E, F, G. Whether or not you want to include the example word is fine, but I would include, as you can see there in parentheses, the sounds that are associated with each letter that are provided in parentheses. Once we do that, we will sing together El Alfabeto en Español with Gino Enriquez and Elmo. And you can slow down this video in settings if you'd like to practice at home. Take it down to 0.75 if need be, 0.5 if you'd like to, and then speeding it back up to real time as needed. And then after we do that, you guys are going to complete exercise 3 in page 7. in your notebooks. And that exercise is essentially using the dialogue that you guys did for homework for today, but adding a new question. And that question, as you can see on page 7, is ¿Cómo se escribe tu nombre? ¿Cómo se escribe is asking how do you write your name, or how do you spell your name? So you're going to add this question on page 7, exercise 3, ¿Cómo se escribe tu nombre?, to the conversation that you guys practiced last week. You're going to add that question right here after you ask someone their name. So for example, if you were having a conversation with me and you greeted me by saying, Hola, ¿cómo se llama usted? If you wanted to be formal with me, or if you feel wanting to be casual, ¿Cómo te llamas? I would introduce myself, Me llamo Señor Carey. And then after I introduce myself, you're going to ask me a follow-up question, which again is from page 7. ¿Cómo se escribe tu nombre? And then as the example here indicates, I'm going to use the sounds of the Spanish alphabet to spell my name in Spanish. So, mi nombre se escribe, or simply se escribe, and then spell my name. S-R, that's Señor, S-R, and then my last name. C-A-R-E-Y. And that's what you're going to do for 5 people. They're going to spell their name in Spanish. And using your familiarity with the Spanish alphabet, you're going to see if you can identify correctly how they spell their name using the Spanish alphabet. So that's where we'll finish off. No assignment due for next class. Only thing that you have to turn in is that Practica Como Te Llamas recording. Remember, it needs to be an audio or video file, no longer than, I'd say, 15 seconds, 20 seconds at most. And that is all for today. Lunes el 12 de agosto.